what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Collecting 101. In today's episode, we're going to talk about Hall pottery. And like always, we're going to delve into the history, and then we're going to talk about some popular patterns and popular lines of pottery that Hall put out there. And then lastly, we're going to talk about the value of Hall pottery in the market right now. So let's get started today with history. Let's go all the way back to 1905. That is when Hall pottery began production in Crooksville, Ohio. Now, early on, their product line consisted of common utilitarian stoneware, semi-porcelain dinnerware, as well as decorative tiles. Now, they quickly gained an excellent reputation for producing quality ceramics. Now, by the 1920s, their continued success led them to experiment more with a new line of art pottery, as well as offering a wider variety of colors and glazing techniques. Now, Hall began producing a wide array of lines starting in the 1930s all the way through the 1980s. So, I mean, that's 50 years of new lines of pottery that Hall came out with. I mean, that's a very successful business, in my opinion. To sustain for 50 years and put out new products throughout that time, I mean, that's just amazing. Now, probably their most popular line was the Little Red Riding Hood line. Now, that came out in cookie jars, canister sets, as well as sugar and creamer sets. Now, the art pottery lines that they were developing were mainly floral themed. So you've seen ones like orchid, magnolia, calla lily, as well as tulip. Now, Hall's product line also began to expand as well. They started doing things with piggy banks, liquor bottles, as well as kitchenware. Now, from the 1940s to the 1960s, their floristware line was very successful. So much so that if a plant or a flower bouquet that was delivered from a florist was often contained in a Hall pot or planter. Through the 1950s and 60s, the company expanded and diversified their product line for the times. So you've seen lines such as Ebb Tide, Tropicana, Continental, as well as Tokay. Now, from the late 1960s through the mid-1980s, the product line changed more to a more of a home and garden look, as well as the imperial floristware look, because that was just the times then. That's what the looks were going for, and that's what people were decorating their homes like. Now, in the mid-1980s, the company went through multiple union strikes, as well as a lot of foreign competition from overseas. And that really was just the beginning of the end, because by March of 1986, Hall pottery ceased production and went out of business. Now, that to me is an amazing history. I mean, you're looking at probably 82 years of business, producing multiple lines from, like I told you guys before, through the 1930s to the 1950s, releasing multiple lines of products. I mean, Hall pottery is one of the most popular pottery lines out there today, along with Roseville and McCoy. I mean, Hall pottery is right up there with the rest of them. So, I mean, to me, it's a very successful business that obviously, just couldn't handle foreign competition, just like most during that time. Most competition came from overseas, and when you get priced out like that, it's really tough to stay in business. All right, guys, let's get on to the popularity section. All right, so let's talk about the popularity of Hall pottery. Now, I figured the easiest way to go about this was to break it up into two separate categories. We're going to talk about the popular patterns that are out there, as well as the popular lines of pottery that they put out as well. So let's start it off with the popular patterns. Now, the first one I'm going to show you is probably their most popular pattern, and that was the Little Red Riding Hood pattern. Now, as you guys can see here, they came out with many different styles of the Little Red Riding Hood, and I know it's quite collectible because we have a lot of people at the store that look for this as well. Now, the next one we're going to show you is the wildflower pattern. Now, like I talked about in the history section, the wildflower was one of those floral themes that they came out with that is one of the most popular ones as well. Now, next one we're going to show you is probably their most expensive pattern, or at least what I've seen out there, the ones that sell for the highest, and that would be the bow knot pattern. And again, another very cool one, very great design, high quality pottery that Hall put out, so you can't go wrong with that. Now, the last one we're going to show you in their patterns is the Mardi Gras pattern. Now, this one to me was a really cool one as well. I mean, there's plenty of other patterns out there to show you. Just wanted to show you a quick four, kind of give you guys something to be out there looking for. But Mardi Gras is definitely one of those cooler ones. I thought that would be cool to kind of show you guys today. All right, so let's get into a couple different pottery lines that they put out as well, because Hall pottery had a ton of different lines they put out. Now, the first one we're going to show you is all their different art pottery that they put out. And again, all very beautiful pieces. That's one common thing is, like I said, that high quality that Hall put out definitely came into with their lines like this, because I mean, there's just some really beautiful patterns, or beautiful lines that they put out, I'm sorry. Now, the next one we're going to show you is the cookie jars. I mean, these are awesome. These, to me, remind me of my grandma. Going there and getting these Hall pottery jars. I mean, the cookie jars to me are so cool. That's something I definitely think should come back, is those ceramic pottery cookie jars. I mean, I think those are so cool. Next one we're going to show you is planters. This is something we sell a lot at the store. Hall planters. I mean, I've probably come across these out of Hall more than anything else. Again, high quality, can be used. It's been used for decades. So again, you can't go wrong with some Hall planters. The next one we're going to show you are vases and wall pockets. Wall pockets, quite popular. We get a lot of people in there looking for those as well. And again, with such a good brand like Hall, you're not going to go wrong picking up some of these. And then the last one we're going to show you guys is piggy banks. Now, piggy banks are something that even my kids don't really know too much about on piggy banks, but something you used to obviously hold your money in. I mean, that's how you saved up. You don't, kids didn't have bank accounts, or you didn't put them into banks. You wanted to put your coins in a little bank and you could shake it and all the cool noises it would make. I mean, piggy banks were awesome. And again, Paul had some really nice ones. And every time I come across old ceramic piggy banks, I pick them up every time because we sell them like crazy, because that's a lot of times people go back to the childhood. They like those piggy banks, so they try to pass it on to their kids as well. So yeah, guys, that's really all I want to delve into on the popularity section today. I really could have went on for a long time showing you a bunch of different lines and patterns. But again, if we're going to get into Hall pottery, we got to do our research. And so me giving you guys this small taste, hopefully that gets you guys into the point of doing a little more research, figuring more stuff out, checking out more patterns and lines, because there are some really cool ones out there. Hall pottery is definitely a line I think you should definitely get into if you're going to start collecting pottery. So, all right, guys, let's get on to the value section of this video. All right, so let's talk about the value of Hall pottery. Now, first off, I always like to start off with condition. Now, with pottery, it's pretty easy. You want no chips, no cracks, no repairs. That's going to give you the highest amount of value on your Hall pottery. Now, Hall was actually great about identifying their pieces by markings. So you really can identify what year and what kind of decade your Hall was made in. So the early on Hall stuff was a wreath with a number and the Hall name on it, or there was an H inside of a circle or a diamond. That's going to be your earliest representations of Hall pottery. Now, pre-1950s Hall was marked with Hall USA or Hall Art USA. Now, after 1950, it was marked Hall in block letters. And the later productions in the 70s and 80s had that big copyright C on it as well with the Hall pottery. So that kind of gives you an understanding of what year, what decade your Hall was made in. Now, for research purposes, which is like we like to talk about a lot on our collecting videos, I used Warman's Hall Pottery Identification and Price Guide. Now, the price guide, not so much, because, I mean, those are all out of date compared to what we have on eBay, finding what stuff sold for. But it was a great helper with trying to get indicators, histories, and trying to figure out a lot of information on Hall. It was just a great source to go to. Now, you also can use like Google, Wikipedia. Guys, the internet's an amazing thing when you're going to get to start collecting stuff, because there's so much information out there. And the more information you have, the lot easier it's going to be to collect. All right, so let's get into the value. Now, most common pieces of Hall are going to sell anywhere from $5 to $25. That's going to be your common patterns, common colors, nothing too crazy, but not too bad either. Planters are always a great seller, but any kind of common planter or pattern or line like that, like I said, $5 to $25 is where you're going to be looking at. Now, if you get into your more rare stuff, your rare colors, rare patterns, that's when you're probably going to get into the hundreds of dollars. Not necessarily to the thousands yet. Hall pottery is not Roseville, so it's a little lesser, less on the value wise. But your more rare pieces, you're looking anywhere from $300 to $500, $500 on the really high end on a great day. But probably $300 to $400 is where you're going to probably really be at for your rare pieces. So again, it's just the way the market is right now. Hall pottery and pottery in general is down. So it's not a great time to be selling it, but man, it is a great time to start collecting it, because you can get a lot of really nice pieces out there for a really good price. All right, guys, now it's time to get into my favorite part of the video, the top 3 most expensive pieces of Hall pottery that have sold on eBay. All right, so number 3 on our list today is the Hall Bow Knot Basket, and it's sold for just under $300. Now, number 2 on our list today is the Hall Pottery Canister Set that sold for just over $300. And the number 1 highest selling Hall Pottery piece on eBay today is a Hall Bow Knot Vase that sold for over $350. And man, it's a really beautiful piece, isn't it? I mean, I absolutely love this piece when I seen it. But yeah, guys, that pretty much wraps up our video on Hall Pottery. Right now, I mean, the history of Hall Pottery is amazing. A very successful business that started in the early 1900s, lasted all the way into the 1980s. A lot of popular lines they produce, from the Little Red Riding Hood to the Wildflower, I mean, plus many others. And then, of course, the value. Like I said before, the value might not be there yet if you're trying to sell, but man, it is a great time to start collecting it. If you want to get into a nice quality pottery piece, Hall Pottery is the way to go because prices are down, and it's a good time to start getting a collection put together, because I do think at some point, again, like all of these pieces we talk about, it's all an up and down flow. Right now it's at a down. It can easily come back on an up. So if you're going to start collecting it, definitely is the time, or now is the time to do that. But yeah, guys, that's our video today on Hall Pottery. Our next Collecting 101 video is going to be on Venetian, or some people call it Murano glass. So be ready for that. That one is going to be some really nice pieces. Murano glass and Venetian glass, obviously, whatever you want to call it. Very beautiful pieces of glass that I can't wait to show you guys. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you guys want to give a like on this video, and then, of course, comment below your history with Hall Pottery. Do you have a collection? Does your grandparents have a collection? Your mom and dad have a collection? Do you have any history with Hall Pottery at all? If there's anything I missed, let us know in the comment section. This great community we have building here, guys. All of us working together, it just makes it good for everybody. And then, of course, if you guys got some time and you like the content, feel free to subscribe to the channel. So many people were eaching up on 30,000 subscribers, and like I said, I appreciate every one of you guys. Then, of course, you guys know our partnership. We have a partnership going on with appraiseitnow.com. Hop on there, use the link in the description, and you guys can help support the channel. We get 10% for everything you guys do. I mean, if you get an item appraised through them, it is get it back within less than 48 hours, and it's only $25. Anywhere else you're going to go, you're going to be spending more than $100. I'm telling you, my words behind it. People are already using it. Thank you guys, all that have already used it. There is so many great things about this company that I can't wait to you guys to check out yourself. I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed. All right, guys, that's our video today. And you guys know me, when we always talk about collecting, it's always about our memories over money. See you guys later.